We have that and so much more coming up. Our sign language interpreter is William Silla. Now, the Kenya Publishers Association has come out to defend their move to increase textbooks prices across the country, citing rising costs of production. Well, this coming at a time when parents have to contend with increased school fees in both public and private schools, with publishers insisting they are not to blame. They are instead saying that a government-sanctioned VAT on all books is a cause for concern. And as KTN's Timothy Otieno reports, it now appears that parents may have no choice but to contend with some harsh economic times.
We meet with Rebecca Shege at the Textbook Center with a 13-year-old son Matthew conducting the final touches of a few days of shopping that will culminate in the start of a new academic year tomorrow when schools finally reopen.
What's that now? Another one. For what?
But Rebecca is not a happy mother. The rising costs of books at the shelf is worrying her. The shopping basket is full of textbooks required by her son in order to be admitted to his new class. He will be joining Standard 7 tomorrow.
How are you?
I'm fine, I'm okay.
Hi, how many millions am I leaving here?
When all has been purchased, Rebecca approaches the till a little bit concerned. She may have to go beyond her scheduled budget this time round. And when all is said and done...
How many textbooks do we have?
About 20.
About 10 to 15 textbooks. And we spent an average complete with stationery and all about 9,500.
Book publishers have announced that prices of textbooks are up by 4 to 10% this year. A Standard 5 primary maths textbook now costing 710 shillings, up from 640 last year. Kiswahili Mufti retails at 574 shillings, currently up from 522, while the Oxford English Dictionary costs 1,625, up from 1,500 just last month. And book publishers say they have a reason why. They insist that the rising rate of inflation, the depreciating value of the Kenya shilling, and the increased cost of production is now becoming too much to contend with.
The costs of production last year in 2015 went up by 22%. 22%. And ideally, that is the margin by which the cost of books should have gone up.
The cost of books that has instead gone up by 10% in some bookstores, a figure that parents indicate may appear insignificant, but one that ultimately inflates the amount of money needed to have your child inside the walls of a classroom. The Kenya Publishers Association are saying that as a parent, you should be blaming government for introducing VAT on most textbooks that has resulted in the skyrocketing prices of books across the country, leaving parents paying, for instance, this secondary mathematics book that currently prices at 674, up from 660 just last year. VAT that was introduced by government in September 2013, and one that has publishers saying is burdening the input and output ratio needed to regulate the price of textbooks. Parents like Ogle Abdi, whom we found shopping with his son, saying that the extra taxation is frustrating them.
Books are going to help our kids. Raise VAT on other things, but not books. We're trying to get these young guys to read instead of being stuck in front of the TV and our tablets. So make books cheaper, then everybody can read. Yeah.
Kama kitu ya dharura, kama ni kusoma watoto kumaliza kusoma ni mzuri serikali apunguzie, lakini kama unakuja gari ni vitu vingine ya kuna dharura mzuri abande juu, lakini kama vitabu watoto nasoma shule afadhali apunguzie kidogo.
Is the MD of Marimba Publications.
Publishers are pointing a finger of blame at government and now want the extra costs imposed on them to be scrapped off. But they insist the hiked prices of books are well within the government's knowledge.
We cannot increase prices without extensive consultation with government. And so the marginal increase of only 4 to about 7%, a maximum of 10%, has been made in very, very, rigorous discussions with government.
At least 14 million children countrywide are expected to resume studies tomorrow, with parents now having to dig that much deeper into their pockets if their children are to fully benefit from Kenya's now seemingly expensive education system. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.
Still on matters of education, and Deputy President William Ruto has told school heads to stop charging extra fees beyond what is specified in government guidelines. Ruto said the Ministry of Education will take action on those who defy the fees guidelines. Speaking in Kilifi Sunday afternoon, the Deputy President said the government was catering for the part of the school fees, hence there was no need to charge parents more. The DP added that a government had increased levy for secondary schools in addition to scrapping exam fees for both Standard 8 and Form 4 candidates.
Kama serikali, mimi nataka wananchi mnisikize. Kama serikali tumetoa pesa kwa kila mtoto wa shule ambaye anasoma katika shule ya upili. Serikali inatoa shilingi 13,000 kwa kila mtoto kila mwaka. Every child, every year ambao wako katika shule ya upili. Pia kama serikali tunatoa pesa kwa kila mtoto ambaye anasoma katika primary school. Na haipaswi mzazi kutoa pesa eti mtoto aende shuleni asome katika primary school na katika secondary school ambayo ni ya day school.
To politics now, and Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto says he will not join Jubilee Party, saying its agenda is not known. Addressing supporters of his Mashinani party, Ruto says he has lost confidence in URP, the party that sponsored him in the last general election. He added that it was wrong for the president and his deputy to assume that dissolving parties was a step in the right direction towards achieving democracy in the country.
Wachana wewe huwa tumekubali, wacha URP iende, TNA iende na Jubilee iende. Wanatuambia nini? If you have killed all the parties, then that is fine. It's up to you. But we are free also to form other parties. We are free to join other parties. You cannot bamboozle us na kulazimisha sisi kuingia kwa chama ambaye hatujui nani na hii chama ni ya nini, agenda yake ni kitu gani? Hii agenda hawajatuambia agenda ya hii ni nini. In that case we are not heading in that direction. Poleni sana. Nendeni kwa heri. Bye bye. Kwendeni mahali mnataka. Tunabaki? Tunabaki wapi? Mashinani. Tunabaki wapi? Mashinani.
Now, the politics of disbanding Jubilee affiliate parties was also a topic of discussion in Western Kenya, with Water Minister Eugene Wamalwa and Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka urging their supporters in Western Kenya to support the move. Well, they explained to residents of Bungoma that the move is aimed at promoting national cohesion. Robert Wanyonyi has the details.
The leaders arrived at Bungoma Poster Grounds event to launch 2 buses bought from a fundraiser conducted by Deputy President William Ruto last year to assist youth engaged in border business in Bungoma County. After the song and dance, it was time for politics.
Hizi basi mbili mnaona hapa Bungoma. Hivi ndio maneno yatakuwa 2017, na lazima tuchunge sana ni basi gani tutaenda nayo. Sawa. Wewe umekuwa party leader wa New Ford Kenya kwa miezi kadhaa. As the former party leader, mimi nilikupea baiskeli. I'm very happy ya kwamba kutoka kwa baiskeli umeenda kwa pikipiki. I'm very happy ya kwamba leo naona umetoka kwa pikipiki unaenda kwa basi. Hiyo ni maendeleo ama si maendeleo?
But Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka, who is also the New Ford Kenya party leader, one of the Jubilee affiliates targeted for dissolution to form one Jubilee political party, announced that the intended dissolution is a delicate matter that has to involve the decision of all party members at the grassroots level.
Chama ni ya wananchi na lazima pia tuwahusishe tukizungumza Nyinyi mtuambie kama viongozi mnataka tufanye namna gani, kwa sababu sisi kama viongozi tumeonyesha njia, lakini lazima tupate endorsement yenu, tupate mawaidha yenu ili tukienda yote sawa sawa.
The leader's mission was given a major boost when former Bumula MP Bifoli Wakoli showed his clearest hint of joining the new Jubilee Party.
Port Kenya na New Port Kenya sinye baiskeli. Na sisi tulienda code ikawa pikipiki. Hawa walienda Jubilee ikawa nini? Pikipiki. Na nyinyi mmetoka kwa baiskeli, mmenunua pikipiki, sasa mmenunua nini? Basi.
Bifoli, who unsuccessfully defended his seat on Accord Alliance platform in the last general elections, losing to Boniface Osiula of Newford, Kenya, vowed never to repeat the same mistake.
Mimi nikiamua kuingia kwa basi kwa kisiasa nilikuwa nimekosa. Nyinyi ndio mmeniambia maneno ya kuendelea, sio mimi, nimejionea kwenu. Kwa hivyo mimi naona maisha yangu, naona nikienda Nairobi sitaenda na pikipiki, nitaenda na basi.
The politics of dissolving affiliate parties under the Jubilee Alliance appears now to have centered in Western Kenya, with some divisions emerging among members, with some opposing the move, while others are for it. Robert Wanyonyi, KTN News.
Now, police in Mombasa now demand that a woman who is alleged to have colluded with a Mombasa MCA to steal 2 vehicles from a British citizen record a statement with the police. And as John Juma reports from Mombasa, the foreigner is alleging that the MCA and the woman friend are working together to con unsuspecting targets.
Lilian Achieng, who claimed to have received 1.8 million shillings from Kongowea MCA Jabez Oduor as a loan and attached a BMW vehicle as a security in case she and her alleged husband failed to pay, has come out to strongly defend the MCA against allegations that the two colluded and forged a signature to steal 2 vehicles from the Briton settler in Kenya, Joachim Stewart.
Nilimwambia nikopeshe 1.8 million ambapo nilimwambia ashikilie kwa gari ya BMW ilipokuwa kwenye mlango yangu, na hiyo gari ni mzee wangu alioileta. Aliponiambia gari kwa mkono yangu, nikamwambia huyu wacha achukue hilo gari anipe hizo hela nione vile ninaweza tumia na watoto, manake ilikuwa sina lolote.
Nimpatie pesa sababu alikuja na mtoto, alikuwa anatetemeka kama na kifafa hivi. Mtoto alikuwa anaaga.
Upon failing to settle the loan as agreed, Kongowea MCA Jabez took 2 vehicles belonging to the Briton, a BMW and a Toyota Harrier.
Nilimwambia ashikilie kwa gari ya BMW ilipokuwa kwenye mlango yangu, na hiyo gari ni mzee wangu alioileta.
But Joachim is alleging that he was never part of the deal and that the two forged his signature on the loan agreement letter.
The whole loan is just a game to extort money. Because if it was not, where are the cash slips that actually show that he has withdrawn the said cash and handed it over someone?
Joachim, who wants the MCA be prosecuted, say the matter has dragged for long. He say he only cohabited with Lilian as a girlfriend but never married her as she is claiming. Police now demand that Lilian record a statement.
We want to find out whether there is forgery, whether there is any theft matter. Because if somebody said, well, you've taken this from him, probably there are documents which were exchanged. So our police is to find out whether there is a case for us or not.
Jabez and his political allies believe the matter has taken a political dimension to tarnish his name.
Watu wengine sasa wametumia kwangu ninagongwa kisiasa kwamba amekuwa mke wangu.
Huyu ni my MCA Jabez. Polisi wanaenda karibu 20 kumshika kama mwizi. Kwani si mtu ambaye ni mheshimiwa, unampigia simu unaenda kwa police station kuandika statement kama kuna kitu kingine. Lakini hatujawahi kuona kwamba drug dealer amechukuliwa na polisi.
Hii mambo ya kuingilia viongozi na kuanza kuchafua majina ya watu, mimi leo nataka kumwambia bwana Awiti wazi, hii mambo unatafutwa wewe. Najua Jabez ni ile tunasema umbo wako, inapigwa umbo yaangaliwe mwenye umbo ni nani.
Until the police conclude their investigations, the lingering question remains just who is fooling who. John Juma, KTN News, Mombasa.
Now, 2 people were last night killed and 5 others injured in a tragic road accident at Migaa area near Salga along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway. The accident, which involved a Nairobi-bound passenger bus and a stationary saloon car, comes barely 2 days after 5 teenagers lost their lives along the same stretch. Police have since blamed the accident on speeding by the bus driver, who is now on the run.
The accident involved a passenger bus en route to Nairobi from Kisumu and a stationary salon car. According to area police boss Joseph Mamburi, who spoke in camera, the bus's brake failed while it was speeding on the highway, leading to the early morning tragedy. The bus driver, who reportedly escaped after the accident, is said to have lost control, hitting the saloon car parked at the bus station from behind, causing the instant death of a man and woman. According to eyewitness accounts, the bus had been experiencing mechanical failure all the way from Kisumu, causing it to make several stopovers before the accident occurred.
Kukuja mpaka hapa ndio tukastuka kwa sababu gari imeanza kubabayuka kwa barabara. Sasa kukuja tumekuja kama gari ni kama ina break kwa sababu bumps inapita bumps, watu wanapiga nduru huko nyuma. Mimi mwenyewe nimeona kama watu wawili wametolewa kama wamekufa. Mama na driver pia ni mwanaume. Wengine wametolewa wakaweka kwa gari wamepelekwa hospitali.
Bodies of the deceased were taken to Nakuru County morgue while the damaged vehicles were towed to Salga police station for inspection.
Gari yetu ilikuwa na speed sana juu kwa bumps ilikuwa inapita bumps na speed kwa sababu ikienda polepole gari inakwama. Wenye tulitoka nayo Kisumu gari ilimshinda kabisa, tukifika wazi gari limshinda, ndio huyu dere mwingine akachukua gari. Sasa udere mwingine alikuwa anajaribu akifika kwa bumps anaenda na speed ndio ipite bumps.
5 passengers injured in the accident are receiving treatment at the Rift Valley General Hospital in Nakuru. This comes barely 2 days after 5 teenagers lost their lives along the same stretch. Trix Ingado, KTN News, Nairobi.
Now, the number of missing persons seem to be on the increase, a worrying trend that has led Kenyans to seek for alternative means of looking for their missing relatives. Francis Mtalaki caught up with a mother who is still hopeful of reuniting with her only son who went missing in September last year.
25-year-old Christine Kagendo is having difficult time in searching for her only child, Bradon Kimathi, who went missing on 30th September 2015. According to Christine, she had taken his son to a relative at Kayole so as to have time to source for a job, and after 2 days, she received a phone call from the relative.
Kakuja, nikaenda kutafuta work. So, after 2 days, mama mwenyewe ndiye aliniambia mtoi alipotea. Mimi sasa mimi niko job, niko hapo one job. Ndio akanicall, akaniuliza unaweza kuja. Nikamwambia kwa nini kuna shinda? Kaniambia hapana. Nikaenda, kaniambia mtoto alipotea.
She later reported the matter to the police, and since then she has been frequenting several police stations.
Serikali imenisaidia. Nimeshinda huko kutoka September huko Kayole. Hakuna wananiambia tu ningoje.
The only breakthrough she had so far is 2 phone calls telling her that her son was taken to a children's home in Nakuru and later sold to a tycoon in Nakuru, but the individuals are not ready to help her find her only child, whom by the start of this year, Bradon Kimathi was to begin his education.
Halafu kuna namba zilikuwa zinanisumbua, watu wananicall. Wananiambia mtoi aliuzwa na Nakuru. Nikamwambia unajua aje na umetoa namba yangu aje? Akaniambia mimi nafanyanga job Iman Children Home hiyo ya Kayole. Akaniambia anafanyanga na hii basi ya shule. Nilienda kuwekewa gari mafuta, nikaona hiyo picha ya mtoto wako alikuwa kwa ile group tulipeleka na Nakuru watoto kama 4. Akaniambia za mtoto wangu aliuzwa kutoka Iman Children Home akapelekwa place inaitwa Ndondori.
This has led her to source for alternative means. The internet is one, and research has it that many Kenyans are forced to seek for alternative means due to government's failure to provide a solution.
If you umepoteza mtu, you will have to go to all these morgues, for example. You will have to go through police stations kuwatafuta. So we actually
Find Me Online is a technology that incorporates social sites like Facebook and Twitter, thus making it easier to disseminate information.
Si kupoteza pekee, kuna watu wako hospitali wanakufa, wanaacha wapendwa wakiwa na bado bills. Now we actually thought it was a nice initiative, and again you can actually raise money through our website.
Over 26.1 million Kenyans are said to be using social sites. Apart from the social media, the technology allows identification of death announcements and security alerts. And its challenges:
we need to actually verify that if someone is dead, for instance, we can actually say this person is dead, because at the end of the day we need to get a certificate to prove that this person is dead. And again, hizo zinapatiwa kutoka kwa government.
The year 2015 has seen cases of missing persons increase in many, being children. There have been cartels also who have been using mobile phone to con Kenyans in the name of assisting them. Francis Mtelaki, KTN News.
Well, we want to take a short commercial break here on KTN Weekend Prime. Don't go away. There's more coming up shortly. Welcome back to KTN Weekend Prime. Let's take a look at more stories. And debate over the management of waste in Nairobi City County rages on, with the county government admitting that the way waste is currently being managed is not sustainable. Our special correspondent Alex Chamoda reports on how the city county plans to overcome the messy garbage collection.
The Nairobi garbage debate rages on.
It's like management by crisis. Once we make a lot of noise, that's when they come out with their trucks, collect garbages, and then it starts again.
Amid the outrage, the Nairobi County government says it will no longer be business as usual.
The system we are going to put in place come this year is going to be more integrated, where enforcement is going to be the key.
A county act on solid waste management that was enacted by the County Assembly of Nairobi, assented to by the governor on 16th October 2015 and gazetted on 22nd October 2015, is the new law the city county says will streamline solid waste management. It comes to effect by April this year.
Point number one is that we reduce waste at source. This is at domestic level. If we are able to reduce waste, reuse some of the waste and recycle it at source, the promotion of 3 R's, then we actually solve our problem 50%. The problem is when we mix up all the waste, whether it is plastic, paper, bottles, and the organic waste into one bag. Then that complicates it, because the recyclable waste becomes dirty and its value is diminished. And then the other challenge is that brings the cartels to Dandora, because they come to sort out now. They want the bottles, they want the paper, they want the plastics, they want the metal, so to make money out of it.
I think the problem starts with issues of planning. We have let the politics of development overtake issues of planning. The laws are there. We have the regulations in NEMA. We have the regulations now in the county government. It's an issue of political will to implement.
The Act provides provision for recycling, participation of the private sector, and separation of waste at source. Officials say a waste disposal site conforming to international standards will be established. It will be illegal to transport waste without a license. It will also be illegal to enter a disposal site without permission.
We now want the waste management to be independent and sustain itself, and of course to evaluate whether the waste management system can sustain itself economically. What we are going to do is to prescribe for the right containers for the residents, and then give guidance to where they can procure them from. That is what we are going to do, so that the residents also have a responsibility of waste management. My waste is my responsibility. If you don't take your responsibility for your waste, for sure we found that the county government can no longer bear this full burden of waste management. The county government is going to embark really on the final disposal, which is a major infrastructural investment that probably will take about 13 billion Kenya shillings to ensure that we put proper final disposal site for final waste disposal.
People have had identified the opportunity in collection of this garbage. Then there will be motivation to remove this garbage from this place. It seems there is no motivation to remove this garbage. It all starts in the mind of government officials, in the mind of the person who is dumping there, in the mind of Kenyan citizens.
So recycling is the future, as there is no longer enough space for dumping, but experts say it all depends on political will, change of attitude, and there must be a champion to push the change. For KTN News, I'm Alex Chamwada.
The Kenyan contingent of the African Union Mission in Somalia has donated an assortment of academic books and other learning materials to students of Ganane Primary and Secondary School in Kisii. The donations are expected to go a long way in empowering the education of women in the war-ravaged country.
Led by Kisii Commander Lieutenant Colonel John Kipier, the force donated books, pencils, pens and chalk to the school in an effort to fortify and support the students' quest for knowledge.
Let me take this opportunity first of all on behalf of AMISOM and in particular Kenya Defense Forces to thank the people of Somalia for choosing to work with AMISOM. I want to thank the administration, the leadership of Jubaland for supporting Kafalo school. It's my first time to be here, and we have realized that there are so many things that can be done in this school. We want to thank the children for choosing education as a key in their lives.
In a country with one of the world's worst literacy rates among women, such donations go a long way in encouraging women and girls to pursue formal education that will widen their economic prospects both at home and in the larger competitive world.
The Jubaland administration and AMISOM KDF are working to support the people, especially women. Our efforts towards improving the lives of women will continue and not stop. We are knocking on the doors and urging women and girls to go schooling. We are engaged in motivating children, especially women and girls, because they hold the key to the future of Somalia.
The officials were welcomed to the school by teachers and students, many unable to hide their gratitude towards the generous gesture.
I know that education is really important, and without education, nobody can go anywhere or do anything. So thanks a lot to AMISOM and Jubaland for encouraging us to be just who we are and get educated, and we will be the faces for tomorrow. And we promise you that we will have a better future in Somalia.
The war and conflict in Somalia has made it difficult for most youth, let alone young girls such as Fahima, to pursue their education. However, as time goes by and with donations such as these, things are sure to get better. Trix Ingado, KTN News, Nairobi.
Very encouraging message from that young lady there. Well, we take another short commercial break, but still coming up on KTN Weekend Prime. And welcome back. Now, thousands of Kisii County residents converged at Misesi Playground for the annual Sports and Cultural Festival that always marks the start of a new year. The festival was initiated 10 years ago and has since been an annual event. This year's festival attracted close to 5,000 locals and was characterized by unique performances. Fred Muturi attended the festival and now reports.
The Abagusi Council of Elders Chairman Araka Matundura led the elders in presenting the customs. These spectacular traditional costumes, arts and crafts, dances and music was fascinating and memorable.
We must serve our cultures. We cannot forget our cultures even though we are digital. We must serve our cultures because dealing with the colonial time, we must act as we are dealing with the colonial time.
Sasa tukicha hivi tukiwa pamoja tunaangalia nguzo na vielelezi ambavyo vinashughulikia hasa maisha ya kuwa pamoja bila utengano.
Old and young participated in the day-long event that was graced by Kisii County Governor James Ongwae, his deputy Joash Mangi, area member of parliament Simon Ogari, and members of the county assembly.
Nyimbo ambazo mmeziona hapa siku ya leo na pia hata artifacts ambazo mmeziona zinabeba falsafa ya watu wa Kisii.
The teams competed in wrestling, racing for the young and old, brief preparation, knitting, traditional flag grinding, tug of war for both men and women, playing a jua, dancing, traditional fire lighting, circumcision rituals and Gusii traditional prayers in a bid to maintain and promote the Gusii culture.
Utamaduni tunaufanya ni wa kufunza kizazi kipya kwamba yote tuliyokuwa tukiyafanya hayakuwa mabaya, kuna mengine mazuri kama haya. Mabaya tumeachana nayo, mazuri tunashughulika nayo kwa sababu yanatuleta pamoja.
In a bid to tightly weave an overall culture, Ongwae said his government will facilitate the hosting of the festival annually as a means of conserving an heritage that will attract local and foreign tourism.
Kwa constituency CDF yako ile pesa mlitoa ndogo na county tulitoa pesa. Hii ni kitu ambayo tutasupport hata next year. Nataka nikuambie na watu wetu wasikie wamesesi kwamba hata next year tutaendelea kusupport kama county government.
Area MP Simon Ogari called on locals to help preserve the Gusii culture and at the same time asked the Kisii County government to help in instituting a proper cultural village that will help in boosting national integration.
The community, the mjumbe, the county government tuanzishe proper cultural village hapa ambayo inakuwa kila mwaka, na tena tungemuuliza kwa vile hakuna ingine Kisii County mzima, tungemuuliza pengine kama angeweza declare hii ndio headquarters ya culture ya Kisii County mzima.
He said we'll also see many of the traditional artifacts preserved for decades rather than being kept in houses. Fred Muturi, KTN News, Kisii.
Interesting showcase of culture there. Some of those songs are very close to my heart. Well, we now take a short breather. We will be back with more. When I say more, I mean sports news is coming up shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's now take a look at some sports news. And Nambala United emerged the 2015 Obama Cup tournament champions after they defeated Luanyange FC 4-2 in a penalty shootout in what was a thrilling match staged at Nambale AC Primary School. The match ended 1-1 draw in normal time. Enoch Muyuka broke the deadlock in the 22nd minute when he tapped in from a close range after Victor Achayo had danced through the United defense, giving Luanyange the lead. Fodson Onyango equalized for United in the 78th minute from a spot kick after Luanyange defender handled the ball in the penalty area. The game ended in a stalemate and went into penalty shootouts. Busia United showstopper saved 2 penalties, with Wachala Simon converting the final kick for the winners.
Pesa ambazo zinatengewa kukuza mpira, tafadhali hizo pesa zitumiwe kukuza mpira. Sisi kama watu binafsi tunajitolea, lakini kuna pesa za serikali, pesa za umma ambazo zinafaa kukuza mpira. Tungeomba sisi watu ambao tunafanya mambo ya mpira tuhusishwe, kama kuna haja tuko tayari kusaidia, lakini hizo pesa zitumiwe kukuza mpira.
Pumwani All-Stars defeated Headquarters by a single goal to nil in a match played at Ziwani Stadium in Pumwani to qualify for this year's Kothbiro final. The all-important goal was scored by Bernard Meki in the 26th minute to book a dream date with defending champions 1,000 Streets in the final, which will be played on the 10th of January on Saturday. 1,000 Streets beat Opitos through post-match penalties to make it to the final for the second year running. This year's competition attracted 48 teams from Nairobi. 10 spectators were seriously injured after the car driven by China's Guo Meilin came off the road and plowed into spectators during the prologue in the Dakar rally in Argentina on Saturday. The organizers said in a press release that 6.6 kilometers into the prologue from Buenos Aires to Rosario, Guo Meilin's car came off the road, injuring several spectators. The local forces and the rally organization immediately attended the site near Beatrice, about 200 kilometers from Buenos Aires, and 4 helicopters and 5 medical vehicles of the organization, as well as 10 local ambulances came to help. I can hear myself. That's why we wrap up this edition of KTN Weekend Prime. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Betty Okari. Yvonne Okwara will be back hopefully next Sunday. But until then, have a lovely week. And as you start your week tomorrow, Monday, may God bless you and may your dreams come true this year. Thank you for watching. Good night.